Should shows release their episodes all at once or weekly? Welcome back to the Streamer, I'm Mo, and today let's take a look at some of the comments we've received since posting our last video across different platforms. With Fallout releasing all of its episodes at once, check out our short that we did for that, I thought it might be a nice time to look at if shows should release all their episodes at once or keep them as weekly viewings. There are benefits and drawbacks to both for sure, and in this video we're going to land on a definitive answer, that's my opinion of course, on what the superior release format is. Binge watching is a relatively new format of watching content, which is a word I absolutely hate when it comes to describing artistic endeavors, but we'll call it content for now. If we go back in time, Netflix really pioneered the ability to binge watch new shows. This is because when titles would be added to Netflix, they'd be in the form of the now outmoded box set, which refers to when physical releases of episodic titles would come in a pack of many discs contained in a box, hence the term box set. Some services still use that term. I know when I get press releases from Paramount Plus, they describe acquired titles appearing on the service as full box sets available. So what are the benefits to the binge model? Number one, you don't need to wait weeks on end for the finale. The waiting between episodes is a huge drawback to weekly releases, and binge drops eliminate that for audiences. Instead of waiting 7 days to watch something, you wait as long as it takes for you to hit next episode. Number two, you save money. Streaming services are getting more and more expensive. Netflix used to cost $10 for its premium no ads tier, now that's closer to $20. Prime Video used to cost $8 for its premium ad-free tier, now $8 is the default and ads come at a higher cost. By releasing shows all at once, you can binge them within 1 month as opposed to being locked into a subscription for 8 to 10 weeks. Kind of related to that, one comment we received said that YouTubers dislike the binge model because it means they have to make fewer videos, so less revenue. That's not true. We've spoken with a number of people who create content, and ourselves included, content creation is hard. There are so many projects releasing in quick succession that the fewer videos you can make about one title, the easier it is. And finally, number three, you can watch the series at your own pace. This is one of the more common reasons why people prefer binging, or at least why they say they prefer binging. People have busy lives and at the very least want the option to watch something as they see fit. As I said before, there are so many new projects coming out all at once, so one thing may take priority over another when it gets released, which means that the freedom to be able to watch something at your own pace becomes important. Not to mention that audiences feel as though because the show has been completed for a while, the studios and services should not hold back on releasing them, just like you shouldn't hold back on hitting the subscribe button, liking this video, and leaving a comment on whether you prefer a binge or a weekly release. Whether or not you agree with those reasons remains to be seen, but weekly releases were the only way audiences could even watch things to begin with. When Netflix changed the game with binge drops, other services started experimenting with weekly releases or batch drops. For the purposes of this video, we'll consider any release that spreads out the availability of episodes of a season as a weekly release. But here are some of the benefits to watching things weekly as opposed to a binge. You keep the conversation going for longer. Do you remember in January 2021 when WandaVision released its first 2 episodes and had everyone speculating about Mephisto each and every week? How fun was that to tune into theory videos, be on social media, and just enjoy the conversation of an appointment viewing each week? That's something you don't get with binge drops. It hasn't even been a month since Netflix's 3-Body Problem released and the search trend is already going down. You get that initial jolt in the first few days to a week of release, then nothing, which is probably what causes streaming services to cancel shows because there's not much social buzz around them. Number two, VFX is hard and weekly releases let you edit things to the wire. By now, I'll presume you've seen Fallout, but spoiler alert if you haven't, the de-aging in the finale that was released is terrible. Kyle MacLachlan looks like he's wearing a skin suit and not the good kind. No doubt, if this was a weekly release, this would have been worked on until the team thought it was more than satisfactory, which would have resulted in an overall more polished final product. Take WandaVision, where director Matt Shackman said they were editing the finale until the last day, and you might try and pull rank and say, do you really want VFX artists working until the last moment? Aren't they already facing horrible working conditions? And to that, my response is, do you think they would be more rushed or less rushed if they had to finish a final episode in time for a binge release? Number three, it gives people time to tune in without having the episodes spoiled for them. This is a big one that's kind of a 2-in-1. There's the time to tune in aspect and the spoiler aspect. With the first one of these, you let people discover the show as the episodes truck along, kind of like me with X-Men 97. Side note, I was lied to about X-Men 97, despite a member of our team giving it a very high score. I can't get into it. But because I picked the show up when it got to episode 5, any spoilers I saw on my timeline would decontextualize, which let me watch and discover the big moments for myself. Regarding spoilers, binge drops don't really have a grace period for when it's okay to talk about things without spoiling them. With weekly releases, there's a more clear time frame of about 2 days. While binge drop supporters say that they can watch the series at their own pace, do they exist on the same internet that everyone else does? Because I find it hard to believe believe that they go their entire time without seeing spoilers for big moments of appointment TV. Hell, a movie could be released in an international market 2 days before the US, and you'll see a post-credit scene on TikTok a day before it's even available for you to watch. It should be clear to you that I prefer a weekly release to a binge drop. Being part of the conversation is a hugely important and satisfying aspect of consuming media. It lets people pick up the show as the episodes move along, and it's much more graceful when it comes to spoilers. While binge watching does have some benefits, like being able to watch something all at once, the anticipation built up from a weekly release means that the satisfaction at the end is worth it. But that's just what I think. I would love to hear your thoughts. For insightful commentary, news, reviews, and everything else, visit thestreamr.com. You can follow us on Twitter, and our Instagram is the same, at @the_streamer, and TikTok is @thestreamer, no underscore.